Let's read this picture book together. The book is Nature Explorers. Lily has the most amazing father in the world. Dad often takes Lily outdoors to have fun, such as riding, kayaking, skiing, and camping. Once, while camping, Lily and her dad were talking. Daddy said, "You know, kid, we have been seeing the same side of the moon for thousands of years." That's amazing, Lily said. Dad agrees. Yeah, it is pretty mind-blowing, right? Nature is incredible. This scene also reminds Dad of his childhood. Back in the day, my dad, your grandpa, used to take me out to play all the time. He was actually an awesome glacial geographer. Can you believe it? Lily never knew this before, so she was very curious and wanted her dad to tell her more. Dad said, "As far as I can remember, your grandfather was always immersed in scientific research. The walls of his study were covered with his photographs of icebergs." Lily thought it was cool that her grandfather, who works on glaciers, and she had a sudden idea. "Dad, how about you become a scientist too? Then there will have two scientists in our family." Dad's face looked a little embarrassed. He said, "Being a scientist is not as easy as you think. If you don't believe, go home and ask your grandpa." But what was really going on inside him was, "Wait, it is not that I don't want to be a scientist. It's just that I can't do it. No, I can't let my little sweetheart know about this." On this day, Grandpa came to pick up Lily from school. Lily was very happy and said, "Grandpa, I want to know about your adventures. Please. It sounds so cool." Grandpa looks proud of himself and said, "Hey, my girl, that's not an adventure. It's a scientific investigation. But since you ask, I'll tell you." Then Grandpa and Lily looked at the past photos together. Back then, we hit up icebergs all around the world, digging up the soil we wanted on site. After saying that, Grandpa even pointed proudly at someone at the picture. "Look, that's me. In this photo, I'm the coolest one, don't you agree?" But Grandpa also said that just as adventure stories always have twists and turns, our journey had a few mishaps too. One day, we ran into a massive snowstorm. It was like a shadow casting over our hearts. Grandpa looks a little sad. We luckily found a cave to seek shelter from the snowstorm. However, one goat wasn't so lucky. It couldn't hide in the cave in time and freeze to death. It is a really hard feeling to watch a life fade away in front of your eyes. The story continues. After the storm eased up, we continued on our journey. Some of our partners, however, decided that they would not go forward. But he still cheered us on his heart. They saw a picture of the Alps. Grandpa said, "The steep angular peaks of the Alps were formed preciously by glacial action." The next photo in the album captured the momentous occasion of Grandpa's award. When he saw this photo, Grandpa smiled and said to Lily, "With some relevant discoveries, I won the prize. Isn't your grandpa great?" In addition to landscape photos, the album also includes group photos of Grandpa and Grandma. Grandpa said, "The Alps, this is where your grandmother and I fell in love." Lily found it was very romantic. Move on to the next photo. Grandpa said, "This is the Eastern European plain. Do you know those undulating low hills are also formed by glacial action?" Lily looks surprised. "Wow, it looks totally unrelated. What is the principle?" Grandpa said, "As glaciers slide, they abrade rocks and carry away debris. When the glaciers stop, they pile up these debris to form undulating low hills. Over time, soil and vegetation develop, then it slowly evolved into what is today." That is the end of the album. But Lily's story continues. In this photo, the grown-up Lily is standing in front of a waterfall taking a photo. What struck me most after my grandfather showed me the album that day was one of his words. I recorded these beautiful landscapes in my notebook. It is worth looking back on for the rest of my life. The little girl did not become a scientist, but she grew up with a healthy love of nature and the outdoors under the influence of her family. She is a nature explorer. This is the end of this picture book. Thanks for your watching and hope you enjoy this story. This picture book, Nature Explorers, begins from a little girl's point of view. In the vein of the little girl's family's love of nature, the book tells the story of her grandfather's scientific investigation as a glacier geographer in the form of looking through old photo albums. The story contains two main scientific points. The first is that the moon always faces the earth on the same side, which is described in more romantic terms in the picture book. The starting point of the design was the poem, "People today can't see the moon of yore. The moon today did like people before." In Chinese is 今人不见古时月，今月曾经照古人。
今人不見古時月，今月曾經照古人。
This poem, although meaningful, is scientifically incorrect. It is therefore hoped that this misconception can be dispelled here. The second point of knowledge is that glacial movements create slightly undulating hills and even plains. The reason for the design is that I used to work as a junior high school geography teacher for 3 years. However, every time I teach this concept, my students always have trouble forming this picture in their minds. Therefore, I wanted to use a picture book format so that my future students could understand this knowledge more easily. This is a picture book for 8 to 16 years olds, one of the aims of which is to give students an awareness of scientific investigation and its dangers. To borrow the words of Dad, a scientific investigation is not as easy as we think it is. It may even come at the cost of the scientist's life. The death of the goat is used as a metaphor, and a chippy style of drawing is used so that death does not stand out too much. The grandfather behind the main character is based on one of my mentors, but of course, many changes have been made in the picture book. During my studies, his passion and love for geography deeply impacted me and made me decide to make geography teaching my lifelong career. I hope that those who read this picture book will enjoy the story. Thank you.